So since the Madlanga Commission is delaying to start, in this video you're gonna get a bird's eye view of what's been happening around the Mkhwanazi Bombshell and the political killings task team. And if you stay with me right until the end, we're gonna do something very powerful, because we are locked in that South Africa will prosper, and this plays a role. So press like and let's start at just before when President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the Madlanga Commission. Listen to this guy. So let's remember where this all started. Mkhwanazi came out. His bombshell was that there's a disbanded political killings task team. Senzo Mchunu shut it down in December 2024, removed 121 dockets. The shocker is that there's a powerful criminal syndicate that touches senior politicians, senior police officers, senior prosecutors, senior judges, senior business people, I don't know if they're senior drug lords, but drug lords as well. Everyone at the top was named in this problem. Now, not only that, but there's ties between Minister of Police Mchunu and the syndicates. But not only that, he has a phone recordings with Brown Mogotsi. He has phone data that links to tenderpreneur Vusimusi cat Matlala. And Mbalula had a knee-jerk reaction, and they came out attacking him. And so Lieutenant General Sibia said Mkhwanazi was acting like a warlord. Ramaphosa gave us one of his no response. This is serious, national security, blah, blah, blah. Parliament got involved. The DA, the EFF, the IFP said suspend him or fire him, or he must step down. The Speaker, Togo Didiza, immediately jumped into motion by appointing 3 portfolio committees to go after the truth here. Then, of course, Mbalula, who had come out and said Mkhwanazi is disorderly, there must be protocol, there must be discipline and all of that. And the Youth League said Mkhwanazi is acting like a superstar politician. Well, Mbalula immediately made a U-turn and said this is serious. And the ANC, through their spokesperson, gave a blah 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 statement. Public and media outcry. Action SA was marching in KZN, marches everywhere. Commentators came out and said, wow, there is deep rot. This is like Zuma era crime state 2.0, and everyone has been talking about it. Not Dada, the deputy chief whip of the DA, went to the police station at Cape Town. He's laid charges because Mchunu had come out that he does know Mogotsi after he said he doesn't know him. Masemula came out to the briefing just to show us the cops are still working, and actually sounded like he's kind of supporting Mkhwanazi. But then he said, I know nothing about a disbanded task team, because did you see any document with my signature on it? After President Ramaphosa called for calm, Mchunu jumped over him and he went and released a statement, said these are baseless allegations without evidence, and I won't allow my integrity to be undermined by insinuations made without evidence or due process. And of course, President Ramaphosa came back and said, see you all on Sunday. So there you go. That's all that's been going on. But let's try to take you back from 2000 to now. So apparently Vusimusi cat Matlala was engaged in cash-in-transit heists, house robberies, and he partnered with Hangwani Morgan Maumela, who's Ramaphosa's nephew, and they were allegedly in healthcare fraud. Example is Tembisa Hospital, where they had quotes marked up by 2,000%. Another report said 4,500% markups. Now, then Babita Deokaran, who was a whistleblower, was assassinated on the 23rd of August 2021 because she exposed irregularities worth 850 million. And so suspects were arrested and they were linked to Matlala and Ramaphosa's nephew. Now, the public protector investigation went on, but there was resistance. July 2018, political killings task team is established by Ramaphosa via an interministerial committee to investigate politically motivated murders, primarily in KZN. So 2018 to 2024, political killings task team investigates 612 dockets, and they get 436 arrests, 128 convictions, including 40 sentences of between 10 and 135 years. They recover 156 firearms and 55 are linked to political cases. And they get 35 cops for defeating the ends of justice. NC members Siyabonga Mkhize and Mzukisi Nyanga were killed ahead of local elections, and the murders were linked to political factions, violence. Patesani Ngiba and former councillor Mzimuni Ngiba are among those who are later charged. So, August 2022, Matlala is allegedly linked to a failed assassination on a taxi boss called Joe Ferrari Sbagnoni. He survives, but now the ballistic evidence connects the attack weapons to multiple other killings. So in November, DJ Somebody gets shot dead in Woodmead. It's a targeted hit. So the police later arrest 4 suspects, including Katiso KT Molefe, who's the alleged mastermind, and they call it a contract-style killing. So, October 2026, Malcolm X and 3 SAPS officers, they are arrested for extortion and corruption. Apparently, they solicited 580,000. They all granted 10,000 rands bail each at the Alex Magistrates Court, and Kenny Gunene, PA Deputy President, apparently pays Malcolm X's bail. So, jump forward to April 2024. Aman Swart, a Q-Tech engineer, is murdered outside his workplace after exposing Transnet tender corruption. 4 suspects, including Lucky Buitumelo Molefe. I don't know if he has any relation to Cat Molefe, so they are arrested, but the ballistics from the weapon, they link to other high-profile contract killings, including DJ Somebody. Now, we move forward to June. 360 million SAPS Health Services contract is awarded to Matlala's Medicare 24, just days after former Minister Bheki Cele stayed in a penthouse owned by him. Does that raise your eyebrows? It raised many eyebrows. Now, in November 2024, the Hawks, SAPS and SARS, they raid Mkhize's home and they find 40 guns registered to Matlala's Cat VIP protection company. And the firearms are not stored properly, but the guns get returned, no charges filed, and of course some voices come out and say, wait a minute, Matlala and his network seem to be under protection in the higher ups. Forward to the next month, December, the Gauteng Organized Crime Unit then calls Mkhwanazi and says, hey, we need some help. He sends 10 officers from the political killings task team. This led to why the political killings task team in KZN may have been disbanded, because on the 30th of December, the ballistics report realizes that the weapons used in Amand Smith's murder were also used in the killing of DJ Somebody, DJ Vintos, and Don Tindleli. Different suspects keep showing up around the same guns. Now we go to the end of December. New Year's Eve, Police Minister Senzo Mchunu orders the disbandment of the political killings task team a day after the ballistics breakthrough. So, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, of course, will later tell us that this was to shield Cat Matlala and Brown Mogotsi. The next day, Brown Mogotsi sets up a meeting between Shadrack Sibiya and Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. The goal? To discuss a solution to the political killings task team disbandment. Next day, Brown Mogotsi, who is an ex-MK operative and was a campaign lobbyist for the CR17 and is an ANC fixer apparently, tied to Mchunu, he texts Matlala and he confirms the political killings task team is disbanded. January, Bheki Cele stays twice at Matlala's luxury penthouse. By this time, Matlala's company holds the 360 million SAPS contract. But Cele denies any personal link. We'll get back to that. Now, January the 14th, Matlala sends Mogotsi payment proof, a text linked to suspected bribes. The next day, June 15, Mogotsi tells Matlala, finalize the invoices and it's part of an alleged cover-up. January 26, 2025, Matlala files an SAPS invoice. Mogotsi briefs Mchunu about a funding guy in Joburg with a 3 billion contract, and it hints at deeper corruption ties. Now, early 2025, suddenly the Tembisa Hospital, where Babita Deokaran used to work, catches fire. Officials say it's an electrical fault. A whistleblower cries out, no, it's on purpose. They burnt it down. It's arson. And it's an attempt to erase the evidence of the Matlala Maumela fraud evidence. So, public protectors' work there is obviously interrupted. Let's get to the 5th of March this year. In Parliament, Mchunu says, I don't know, no Mogotsi. We'll find out what happened later. Now, in March 2025, the political killings task team is shut down. 121 dockets, including 107 murders, are moved from KZN to Pretoria. Shadrack Sibiya, on the 26th of March, he orders the dockets to be removed. The allegation is this is to shield Matlala and Mogotsi and others. So, March 30th, X-Space audio leaks. Mchunu admits knowing Brown Mogotsi, flatly contradicting what he said earlier in Parliament. Now, the 14th of May, the political killing task team arrests Matlala, and charges include 3 counts of attempted murder, 1 targeting a witness, Tebogo Tobejane. Now, then we get to July the 6th, the big day, when Mkhwanazi comes out and delivers his all-famous press conference, drops the bombshell on the country. We know from this video up here. July the 13th, that's when Ramaphosa came out and said, Deputy Chief Justice Madlanga, as soon as you retire, go ahead with the commission. Now, 21st of July, the police raid KT Mulife's Santin home over the murder of DJ Somebody, and they arrest 3 others on murder, conspiracy, and firearm charges. Joburg MMC PA Deputy President Kenny Gunene happens to be at the house during the raid. But he says, I was just doing an interview. In this video here. Now, Patisani Tutukani Ngiba on the 22nd of July is sentenced to life imprisonment by the magistrate courts in Duzuma, KZN, for murdering ANC councillor Zakhele Shezi Khuzwayo in 2022. Also a key accused in the 2021 political killing of Siyabonga Mkhize and Nyanga. Now, July 23, that's when the National Assembly Parliament claps and says, yes, ad hoc committee voted for. So that is still going on. Now, the 28th of July 2025, Malcolm X, a super consultant, confirms that he called the Hawks when Molefe was arrested in December. But he says the call was just fine, nothing wrong. Best person who covered that is Citizen Concerned in this video up here. Check it out after this. Now, 30th of July, Political Killings Task Team arrests 2 men for the murder of DA councillor Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. They're accused of orchestrating the hit from prison. Now, on the 30th, KZN police arrest 2 men for the murder of an IFP councillor, Nokulunga Happiness Mashabane. One of the men is her husband. August comes in. Phone records leaked. Bheki Cele and Kat Matlala call each other over 100 times in messages, including days of 10 calls between them. So this obviously goes against Cele's earlier denial. I don't know Matlala, have no connection with him, and it deepens suspicions around tender and political interference. 28th of August, the National Commissioner, Fani Masimula, sends the 121 dockets back to Mkhwanazi and says, hey, these belong with you. Carry on with your work. They were removed to Pretoria, but these are yours. Ramaphosa is reported to have been fuming about this. How dare you send dockets to their real house where they belong? How dare you send dockets to the police who can execute an arrest within the next month when you should send them to the Madlanga Commission, which would delay that same arrest by 1 year, 2 years, who knows? He phones acting police minister Firoz Kachalia and says, I am so mad. And Kachalia comes out and says, Fani Masimula is jumping the gun. Why? How dare he return dockets to where they actually belong and where they can be processed? But of course they met, and EFF also said, Kachalia, you are interfering with police business. MK Party, those things should have never been in Pretoria. And the reaction of Ramaphosa and Kachalia just smells of interference. Masimula stood his ground, and then they came out to the statement saying, no, it was just about this. But Masimula kept the copies so that if the Madlanga Commission wants them, here's the copies. If they ask for the originals, we'll fetch them and give them to you. So they come out with a statement saying, we are now in unity, blah, blah, blah. We are no longer angry. So, very strange how Ramaphosa was fuming over dockets going down to where they can be processed, but he was not fuming when the dockets came up to Pretoria. Weird. He's got to balance all of that. But the question still remains, who else is implicated? My biblical reaction, if you will read it with me with intention that we are reading it into the atmosphere of South Africa, my reading with your reading, we'll get something happening. Let's go. For evil doers shall be cut off, but those who wait or trust in the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall be no more. Indeed, you will look carefully for his place, but it shall be no more. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plots against the just. The just would like to do business with sheer grit, commitment, and hard work. The wicked fight for BEE to take advantage of the poor and the just. The wicked plots against the just and gnashes at him with his teeth, but the Lord laughs at him, for he sees that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn the sword and have bent the bow to cast down the poor and the needy, to slay those who are of upright conduct. If you are one of those who wants to do business honestly, not through government corruption, if you are one of those who is in a shack, unemployed, struggling because everything goes to the connected wicked, read the next few lines with me in faith. Their swords shall enter their heart, and their bows shall be broken. Their swords, starting now, shall enter their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. Their swords, the tenderpreneurs, the politicians passing the laws to make the tenderpreneurship possible for them, their swords shall enter their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. So it shall be from right now, for it cannot be any other way. We declare it, we receive it, we celebrate it. So that is the bird's eye view of the Mkhwanazi bombshell. No man can serve two masters, for either he'll love the one or hate the other, or he'll despise the one and honor the other. You cannot serve God and Karl Marx. Neither can you do business via Karl Marx set up tenders. So let's make history together. Remember, not only to subscribe, but also ring the bell so you catch every video. Let's make history together. Cheers.